All Things Motoring is owned and brought to you by CHANGECARS, South Africa's trusted online vehicle platform. Whether you're looking to buy, sell or just need advice, visit changecars.co.za.
My name is Michael Pashut. I'm the owner of the online vehicle platform changecars.co.za. Time to get straight into the show.
This week on All Things Motoring, we head out into the great outdoors to see limitations on our vehicles or our own skills. Then we hear a fantastic story about heading north on a journey from Joburg to London in a Jolon Imp. All-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, ground clearance, or lack thereof. Experiencing the great outdoors is extremely fun, but sometimes there's a limitation in the vehicle you select. Let's check out what we will be choosing for today's adventure.
Let's deal with all the contestants. Soft roader. Go anywhere? Absolutely been everywhere. Go there fast as long as you're on tar. And here we have the perfect fit for the occasion, the wonderful Jeep Wrangler Unlimited.
Today, our first choice is a Jeep Wrangler. With the Jeep Wrangler, nothing stands in the way of adventure, staying true to its heritage with the iconic round headlights and 7-slot grille. Powerful and sophisticated 4x4 systems make this the most capable Wrangler ever, and it comes with a trail-rated badge to prove it.
Let's go have some fun.
Preparation before you head out is essential. Tire pressure, oil levels, and in the case of a powerful 4x4, fuel. Lots and lots of fuel.
At All Things Motoring, I have the best team around me, but when it comes to the important stuff, I do it myself.
All the checklists have been done. Last tick box, head out and have some fun.
We've just arrived at the beautiful facility that is the Volt 4x4 Centre, just outside Hartbeespoort. What a beautiful place to come with the family for a day out. They've got beautiful picnic facilities. You can come here, cool down in their lovely pool, and afterwards have a lekker braai. We're going to show you what this place is about.
Having a car that gets you from A to B is fine, but what vehicle really puts a smile on your face? Let's meet Sean, a self-proclaimed city slicker who has just bought a very capable Toyota FJ Cruiser.
I'm chatting with my good friend Sean today in front of a car that he's just bought, a Toyota FJ Cruiser. Sean, I must tell you, has never done 4x4ing today. What you see that we're about to show you will be Sean's first experience on the 4x4 track, but I think we need to find out, most importantly, why Sean wanted a 4x4.
Well, Mike, as you know, I've got the place in Mozambique and I tried to go up there with a Range Rover. And
you say tried, what happened? Tell our viewers what happened.
Yeah, after day 2, I already blew the first tyre out, and 2 days later, the second one, so not a good experience. So I obviously asked you to help me to find something that's going to take us into Mozambique and not get us stuck. And you bullied me into this bad boy. So
I think this is a great choice, but I'm going to show you that it's still the second best choice after my vehicle. Sean, a good mate of mine, always told me, when you're out on the track, if you get stuck, you're on your ace. So today you're not going to be on your ace. We've got a good friend of mine as well, Terence, who's going to give us some tips. Terence, come join us.
Hi, nice to see you guys. Hi, Sean.
Hi, Terence.
You know, we've got a very important mantra in 4x4 driving. As slow as possible, but as fast as is necessary. I'll repeat that. As slow as possible, but as fast as is necessary. You'll understand that a lot better at the end of the day.
Good. Well, we can only try. Let's see.
Your opinion, Terence? Has he got the right vehicle here?
We'll let you know at the end of the day, Michael. I'm full
Are
of
you saying
confidence.
results speak for themselves?
Yes.
Awesome. Terence, what do you say? Let's introduce him to a man's world and we head out.
Yes, look, he's a perfect city slicker, so I think it's time for us to introduce him to the real world.
Awesome. Let's go.
Toyota's FJ Cruiser has been around for a while. The 4-litre petrol motor has the perfect blend of control, raw power and reliability. The underpinnings are built from the Prada platform. Sean has chosen wisely.
Sean, just remember, I'm here to help you with everything.
Thanks, Mike. Any safety tips you can recommend?
Yeah, put your seatbelt on.
Thanks, Mike.
Can I start the car for you as well? Let's go.
De Wild 4x4 is situated on the northern slopes of Magaliesberg between Pretoria North, Hartbeespoort and Brits. It's an hour out of Johannesburg and 30 minutes from Pretoria. The De Wild facility is approximately 400 hectares and has a variety of fauna and flora. The trail is designed in such a way to accommodate 4x4 vehicles, hikers, cyclists and trail runners. The main facility can be accessed by a standard vehicle. The trail itself and its obstacles will at least require a 4x4 vehicle with some clearance.
And what do you think?
I'm tapping out. I'm done.
This is no soft road course. Come join me in a real 4x4.
I'd love that.
We have now separated the soft roaders from the hardcore 4x4s. Let's go have some fun and challenge our vehicles, and maybe ourselves.
So now you're going to do this really slowly.
Am I going through the water,
You're going to
can
go
I?
through the water? Yeah, you're going to go.
Yeah, we want to make this messy.
Remember, nice and slow. Nice. That's even a little bit too fast. So even slow it down even more. Touch the brake a little bit. Touch the brake. Now, ease off the brake now. Squeeze on that accelerator a little bit.
Okay.
Beautiful. Now you're driving nicely. Brake a little bit, take it into the water nice and slow. Perfect. And you see where the wet tracks are leading out of it? That's where I want you to go. So
Okay.
nicely through the water, veer left a little bit, and you get extra points if you get into that puddle there. How about that?
I've ever only known how to drive fast. Nobody ever taught me how to drive slow.
Remember the off-road mantra, as
Yeah.
slow as possible, but as fast as is necessary. Okay, so here, can I ask you a question? Would you drive this hill slow or fast?
Slow.
Really slow, exactly.
Yeah.
So you're going to turn, which way do you want to drive here?
Oh, well, we'll
right?
carry on straight. And
You're going to go straight, okay. Go straight then, you choose. As long as you keep it nicely on the track, everything should be cool. Remember, you got those nasty rocks in front of you, but this car can handle these with aplomb. Okay.
Change Cars. There's no safer online vehicle platform in South Africa.
Would you believe I was getting ready to drive this beautiful 1967 Hillman Jolon Imp, to give it its full name, from Johannesburg to Coventry in England? Possibly not. Today we have the privilege and pleasure of speaking to Terence Tracy, who undertook just such a journey, traveling through 20 countries from South Africa to arrive in Coventry, England. What an incredible story he's about to tell. And I promise you, you're going to have some laughs as well. It's a very pleasant evening in Hartbeespoort Dam. We've had the most incredible day out on track at the Wild 4x4 Centre. Terence, thanks for joining us. Thanks for helping out. But the real reason you're here is to tell an incredible story. At the beginning of our show, we saw a beautiful 1967 Jolon Imp. But it's not the car that's incredible, it's the story behind the car. And it's a very personal story for you. I'd love you to share it with us.
Thank you, Michael. Yes, I love sharing my story. It really was a wonderful life experience. In 2013, there was the 50th anniversary of the Hillman Imp. The Hillman Imp was a car that was made in Scotland, and in 2013, we decided in the members of the Imp Club to have a gathering of Hillman Imps in Coventry, just north of London.
Were you the only South African that attended?
No, Jeff Bierman, my brother-in-law, and myself.
Your co-driver?
Yeah, he was my co-pilot, not co-driver. Michael, come on, give him a break. So yeah, it was Jeff Bierman and myself decided to take one of my Hillman Imps from Johannesburg up to London and then on to Coventry. Here's our car, looking like ready for tomorrow's trip. So that's why I called it the Jolon Imp. Jo for Johannesburg and London, L for London.
Incredible. Roughly the journey in terms of kilometers? You can't even say as a crow flies, as the car drives.
As the car sometimes drove. Yeah, we did have a few breakdowns. But yeah, it was 14,000 kilometers all in all. And we went through about 20 countries. 20 countries, 7 water bodies. We actually had to cover 7 water bodies during the journey on barges and one big ferry as well from Egypt over to Turkey.
So if I can ask you, firstly, how does an idea like that start? Whose bright idea was it?
The bright idea actually emanated from the chairman of the Imp Club, of which I'm a member, in England. And he suggested, or he asked questions through the membership, what shall we do to celebrate the birthday of the Hillman Imp in 2013? That was about 2010. So I phoned him and I said, hi Graham, it's Terence here. I'm a member of the Imp Club and I think I'm going to drive my Imp to Coventry for the celebration in 2013. He said, great idea, Terence.
Where are you coming from?
He said, which town are you coming from? And I said, Randburg. He said, where's Randburg? I said, yeah, it's just north of Johannesburg. He says, no, you're mad. He said, did you see what happened to the guys who drove the Hillman Imp on the Mongol rally? I said, yeah. I said, but those guys, they didn't prepare their car nicely. I'm going to prepare really well. But of course I didn't.
Oh, yeah. So now in terms of planning, you indicated roughly 20 countries. Were there different routes that you could have taken, or did you choose a very obvious route?
Yeah, I chose the east of Africa because a very good friend of mine who gave me good advice all along the trip and before I left had done the trip 5 times.
Wow.
He has done it 5 times himself. And the east of Africa was obviously the much easier route.
Is that just because it's predominantly English speaking?
No, the English speaking aspect didn't worry us because, I mean, when you get to Ethiopia, you cannot speak English there anyway. Well, you can speak English, but they don't understand. You have to say, "Ameseganalo," which means thank you. That's all I could say in Ethiopian, but I survived. I managed to get through. Yeah, look, it was, the countries in the east of Africa are a little bit friendlier towards traveling people.
Okay, fair enough. And tell me now, when anybody looks at that car, that's not exactly the biggest car. Luxuries, 0. Is it fair to say 0?
Easier.
Power steering, central locking, air conditioning. Let's focus on the air conditioning or lack thereof. When you get to Central Africa, approaching the equator, was that pretty hair-raising?
Well, it was around about 46 degrees temperature Celsius. In actual fact, when we stopped in on the side of the road short of Khartoum one evening, we decided to have a meal on the side of the road, which we cooked a nice stew. And after dinner, we like a cup of coffee. So we decided to go for a pot of coffee, which was stacked on top of the Hillman Imp in our plastic food container. And the coffee pot was a plastic coffee pot. It was melted with the heat.
Just from the 46 degrees, that's incredible. Now, you spoke about picnicking on the side of the road. I think when people think of deepest, darkest Africa, they always think it's unsafe.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the safety factors.
Well, people often ask me about that. And the interesting thing is when you travel through Africa and people hear that you've come from South Africa, they say, wow, isn't that dangerous in South Africa?
So they actually know about our crime situation.
Yeah, and they actually are, and they're actually nice people. We actually met no bad people on the road, not a single person.
Welcome to Nairobi, Jeff. Organized chaos. On a Saturday morning.
Change Cars. There's no safer online vehicle platform in South Africa.
Drive like an Egyptian.
So now the journey itself took roughly 39 days?
39 days, yeah.
Day one.
Yeah.
You leave Joburg, what kind of farewell did you get?
Well, it was a very interesting departure because I had only tested the petrol. I put a second petrol tank into the front of the Hillman Imp, which gave us a range of about 800 kilometers on good roads and less obviously on the bad roads. So I've got a second petrol tank, and only that morning did I fill it up for the first time. And then as we decided to leave the house in Rand Park Ridge, I realized that there was a petrol leak. So the plumbing had to be redone. And I said to Jeff, I said, listen, Jeff, let's not use the tools in the back of the car. Let me just reverse it back in and use the tools in the garage, and then we'll leave the stuff in the back of the car for if we need it later on the trip. And then I realized our second problem, our second breakdown happened right there. We realized we had no reverse gear. We had lost reverse gear as we left the house.
You did not drive from Johannesburg to the UK without a reverse gear.
But there was a positive side to that, Michael.
There was no going back.
Exactly. No matter what hurdle we encountered upon the way, I said to Jeff, remember, whatever this problem is, whoever this guy on the border is not letting us through, just remember one thing, we haven't got reverse. We ain't going back. So we actually used it as a psychological positive.
At any time on the whole trip, was there ever a moment where you thought, what have we got ourselves into? If only we could get out of the situation, or was it always a case of we're going to achieve the goal?
Yeah, it really started happening bad in Kenya. I mean, when we were on that mud road, it was 500 kilometers of mud. We met people in Tanzania before we got into Kenya, and they warned us about the Bandit Road, or the Hell Road as it's called, north of Nairobi. I actually called Nairobi a different name, Nairobi. It was so damn expensive. Yeah. So basically when we heard that this Bandit Road was such that the bandits will just swoop down off the side of the road and stop you and steal everything that you had and just leave you for dead. And then we also heard that there was an Englishman speared to death about a week before we were to leave Nairobi.
Wow.
So we were definitely scared. When we eventually got going into the north of Kenya on this 500 kilometers of mud road, we were stuck solid, and there was a Land Cruiser was actually helping us. They were towing us out of the mud.
Locals?
Yeah, basically, it's a bit of a long story. You'll have to read the real story in my book, but let's make it short for now. We were being towed out of this, and I said to myself, maybe what we should do is actually go back to Nairobi, drive down to Mombasa, get a ship in Mombasa and put the car on the ship and take the car to Coventry. We said we wanted to get the car to Coventry. We didn't say we had to drive it all the way. But then I realized, no, let's try and actually just drive it. Yeah, we basically went from South Africa into Botswana and Botswana into Zambia. Basically it was, I think Tanzania has got an irritation on the roads because every couple of kilometers you got a sleeping policeman. And it says, you can't get over 60, you mustn't travel over 60 kilometers an hour. For crying in a bucket, my engine was 875 cc. I could hardly ever get it up to 65. So just a few times that I managed to get it up to 60 kilometers an hour, I had to stop for this stupid police, hump on the road that I had to slow down. So basically the roads in Kenya were really the worst.
Did you ever encounter a specific incident or incidents where you were detained or semi-detained?
Yes. It was actually in Sudan, and funnily enough, I was scared when I was with the prospect of getting into Sudan, because to get into Sudan, you can't just rock up at the border and show your visa. First of all, you won't get a visa until such time as you tell them who you're going to stay with in that country. Who you're going to stay with in Khartoum, who are you going to stay with in Wadi Halfa, who are you going to stay with in Wad Madir. You have to tell them all these people. And of course, I don't know how we did it. Please don't ask me.
Were you speaking Arabic there, or were you naming cities in Sudan?
No, those were cities. So then, when we get into Sudan from the top of Ethiopia, we got into a place called Wad Madani, and then from there we went into Khartoum, and Khartoum to Wadi Halfa, which is where you catch the barge and the ferry to Egypt. It's about 1,700 kilometers altogether.
Oh, is this a city? Is this a town?
Wadi Halfa is a village in the middle of the Sahara Desert.
If you excluded Southern Africa, what country on the trip made the biggest impression on you, for any reason?
Ethiopia.
And the reason for that?
I don't know. It was just nice. The people there were nice. The roads were hilly as hell, but very interesting and such a I don't know. It just appealed
but no,
to
we
me.
talking
And
about
also, I think probably the main reason that I loved Ethiopia is we were basically stranded for days on end in that mud road, and we thought we would never get out of it. So when we eventually get into Ethiopia, it was like, wow, what a relief.
Terence, and I'm sure all our viewers are so inspired by all your experiences, and I look forward to hearing so much more.
Certainly, thank you.
Let's get back to De Wilt and see how the guys are getting on at the 4x4 trail.
Terence, what do you say? Let's introduce him to a man's world, and we head out.
Yes, look, he's a perfect city slicker, so I think it's time for us to introduce him to the real world.
Awesome, let's go.
We go.
Stay tuned for next week's show to see if Sean makes it up here alive.
And 1, 2, 3. Let's get a clap, please. Hey. Thank you so much.
Nice.
Next week on All Things Motoring, we check on Sean's progress in his FJ Cruiser and hear the conclusion to Terence's amazing journey. You don't want to miss this.
All Things Motoring is owned and brought to you by CHANGECARS, the platform buyers trust with good reason. CHANGECARS works exclusively with the best manufacturer-approved dealerships. There's no safer online vehicle platform in South Africa.